Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Labor Day. I hope you all are having a wonderful day off if you are off and a relaxing day as well. This is my favorite week out of the whole entire year. No, it's not Christmas. No, it's not my birthday, even though my birthday is coming up. It is the start of the NFL football season. So thank you guys, everybody. Thank you all. Sorry, technical difficulties. Thank you all for joining in Bad Calls, Balls, and Brawls this week. Oh, thanks for that. Really?
Football.
You're
Football
so
is back.
cheesy. Okay, that's like the ringtone for everything. Anyways, guys, it has been an amazing offseason being a Dolphins fan. We're really looking forward to this season. But before we kick off the season, obviously a lot of you right now are working on your fantasy football teams. It's huge. Wives, girlfriends, I completely get your boyfriend is really doing his league this week. So when he tells you he's out at the bar or he's at his boy's house, he's really doing it this week. I promise you that's the week that they're all
You
doing their
believe me
leagues.
all 4 times so far.
Okay, whatever. Just that one time. Really? 11 o'clock? No, I'm just kidding. No, so it's a really exciting week. Obviously, we have a game on Thursday. Starts off the NFL season. We have the Rams and the Bills. So without further ado, on today's episode, we have a very, 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 very special guest who is not only like a defending Super Bowl champ. Well, he's not the defending Super Bowl champion, but he likes the defending Super Bowl champ. He likes the defending Super Bowl champs. We have LaQuan Jones, and LaQuan covers the Rams with Downtownrams, and he also is an editorial researcher for NFL Network, which is a pretty dang cool job.
Really cool.
So really excited to get to know him, kind of his predictions going this year, fantasy football, and then let's see how they're going to destroy the Bills on Thursday.
Yes.
So without further ado, dun, 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 LaQuan, what's going on?
Hey, glad to be here. And I definitely love that intro. That was like a fire intro, by the way.
Right? So we, obviously, us Dolphin fans are cheering for you guys on Thursday, right? Playing the Nemesis Bills. So definitely have big shoes to fill.
That's good to hear.
So, no, definitely. So tell us about yourself. How did it start? Why the Rams? What do you do now? We want to get to know you.
Well, so the Rams story is like pretty funny. It's not as crazy as everybody thinks. Like, I'm from New Jersey, so everybody's like,
how are you? I'm from New Jersey. Hold on.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Where in New
So
Jersey?
everybody's like, why are you a Rams fan? Like, so random. St. Louis Rams. Like, what are you doing?
Oh,
but
where
like,
in New Jersey?
Like, I was in Hamilton, like Princeton area, like in that area. Like,
Perfect.
dead
South
center.
Plainfield,
Central
baseball.
Jersey does exist.
I'm Central Jersey. I'm South Plainfield. I'm outside of Rutgers.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Okay,
Perfect.
so why the Rams? I think I went to high school with like one Rams fan. So go ahead.
I mean, like, it's basically the first game I ever watched. And, like, when you see Marshall Faulk, you see Kurt Warner, you see Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, like, all these legends, it's, like, the greatest show on turf. It's, like, how can you not like this team? And then they go and win the Super Bowl. And I'm like, yeah, this is my team. Like, I'm sticking with this. Like, I love this. But, it wasn't always, great. I lived through the Mark Bolger, the Sam Bradford, the Jeff Fisher era, and it was very hard to like stick loyal, but we're here, and you know what happens when you stick loyal and you get rewarded. You get a Super Bowl. So I'm happy to be a Rams fan now.
I wish I had the same aspect as a Dolphins fan. Sit here, be loyal, and still how many years it's been. So no, that's awesome. So what your current position now is an editorial researcher for the NFL. I have an idea of what you do, but tell me what you do.
So I basically look up stats. I look up a lot of info that, some of the on-screen talent needs. Like I give them, like the crazy stats, like how many times has Josh Allen thrown on 3rd and 8 and converted, things like that, like real deep dive and stuff that they can, put on TV. So like I work for Total Access. I do NFL Now, like just some shows like I help out and put notes together, game previews like Bills and Rams. We got a lot of stuff that we need to look into, like the history, what Josh Allen did last time. I was very depressed. He got that game-winning drive, but, we're coming back for revenge this Thursday.
No, definitely. And if somebody wants to take a path like that, I have a lot of viewers who are younger, aspiring, want to work in the sport industry. I personally was a sport management major at St. John's myself, but
Nice.
For someone to take that degree, that path, what do you suggest?
I suggest that you stick with it. Like I started out about 3 years ago doing video content, and I was a full-time mechanic. Like I worked at Volkswagen, Porsche, and I worked at Tesla, my most recent job. So I've been a mechanic since I was like 15, 16 years old. So I definitely knew I did not want to work on cars for the rest of my life. So I had to pick up a hobby. So it happened to be YouTube, So my first recommendation is like, stick with it. Don't give up, because like your first couple videos, they're going to be bad, and you have to just accept that. You might have 2 views, 4 views, 40 views, 140 views, and you have people watching. Like, the numbers do not matter when you first start out. Like, I had 11 views for an entire year of 2018 and 2019, and I'm like, nobody's watching me. I should stop. But I felt as though I was helping those 11 people. I was helping those people in their leagues, and them coming back and DMing me or leaving comments on the videos like, hey, man, you helped me this week. You told me to start Kenyon Drake, and he just exploded for me for the Seahawks. And I'm like, dude, that gave me motivation to keep doing what I'm doing. And like, you never know who's watching also, because there's plenty of people like, relatively famous people. Like, I'll throw a name out there, Des Bryant. Des Bryant's been watching my videos since last December. And I'm like, why? Like, like, what are you doing? And like, now, me and Des, we talk from time to time. We have a podcast on Twitter coming in the Twitter spaces. So look out for that. Week to week, we'll try to give you starts and sits and waiver wire pickup and stuff like that. But like I said, you just got to stick with it, because you never know who's watching. You never know who will reach out and like, hey, I really think you can do this better, or you can do that, and et cetera, et cetera. And they want to see you grow. So it's awesome. Definitely Twitter space, the community, fantasy community, football community in general. Like, it's not as toxic everybody likes to say it is, but it's very open arms. You know what I mean?
So you said Kenyon Drake. Do you want to break my heart now? Like, oh, Kenyon. Oh, anyways. Okay, so let's talk about fantasy football. I know it depends on the type of draft, but in your opinion, like, what's the deepest position in this year's draft? What's the deepest?
Oh, wide receivers. There's plenty of value down there in those mid to late rounds. And like, you have guys like Adam Thielen that's still being forgotten. And it's like, how? I mean, Adam Thielen scores touchdowns. Like, as you can see, roses are red, violets are blue. He's going to score touchdowns for you. And like, people forget about guys like him. And even Robert Woods, even though he's a Titan, tier, it's a little too soon to talk about it, but I feel as though he's going to be good too. He's a reliable wide receiver, and that's kind of what Ryan Tannehill needs. And they're banking on him to be like 100% week 1, but I'm more so looking like week 4 or 5, where he'll be growing into being back to the Robert Woods we know. So the wide receiver depth this year is like crazy.
Agreed, 100%. And so I know we got a lot of stuff to follow up with you about, but let's get right to it. Your top 5. Give us your top 5 players off the board. Who are LaQuan's top 5?
Just because you have a draft tonight, and that's why.
Yes. So I got a big draft tonight, LaQuan. Just so you know.
I'll give you the first 5 picks.
Yeah. And unfortunately, my competitors are listening, so give them the not so good picks now, and we'll do our later picks later.
Oh my God.
Okay, so Kenyon Drake. But my first 5 picks, it has to be PPR format, and it has to be 12-man league of what I'm going to be talking about. So my top 5, it has to be Jonathan Taylor. JT is number 1 off the board. I know a lot of people are controversial with that because they want CMC, but CMC is right there at number 2 for me. So it's like, it's really a toss-up, but CMC has that injury that like kind of bothers me. Like, I'm one of the bitter exes, that took him in the first round 101 last year and kind of screwed me, but I feel like
Baker's going to help him out, though. I mean, is Baker going to take his game to the next level?
That shouldn't be hard for Baker to do. It's a matter of like CMC staying healthy, and like just like his injury with Saquon Barkley, it's kind of unlucky. It's not like it's from getting smashed, and it's not because like he's doing something crazy. It's just a really unlucky situation of just being tackled, and that's the part of football. But I really feel as though CMC Baker could be something great. I mean, Baker could climb up into that top 15 in fantasy, and that could be because of CMC. And ultimately, that offense just needs to be clicking on all cylinders with DJ Moore, of course. Even Robbie Anderson. Maybe Robbie Anderson become fantasy relevant again with Baker Mayfield. But I think Baker's playing with a chip on his shoulder. So again, all these players that I'm talking about on the Panthers, they should elevate in some type of way in rankings. But number 3, this is where it gets a little fishy. Like, I want to say Cooper Kupp, but obviously I'm a Rams fan, so people will be like, oh, well, that's biased. But I really feel as though Cooper Kupp should be number 3 off the board, and then Justin Jefferson. And then it's a toss-up there as well, because you have Kevin O'Connell going over there from the Rams. He was our offensive coordinator. He's going to open that playbook up for Kirk Cousins, and I could see Justin Jefferson having 2,000 yards, and I can see him having 10 to 15 touchdowns. So there's the toss-up. But again, you got Sean McVay, Cooper Kupp, and Matthew Stafford. That can easily be that too. It could be a repeat. But it's a toss up there. But number 5 is where it gets tricky. So I want to say Jamar Chase, but I'm going to go with his teammate. I'm going to go with Joe Mixon at number 5. And people think that's a reach, but no. Joe Mixon we have a repeat in our hands. He finished top 4 last year, and he was like crazy with touches. And the thing is, Joe Mixon's going to get involved more in the passing game this year. The offense has only got better. They improved the O-line on top of that. So it's like now Joe Burrow's protected. And now Joe Mixon has a more open lane with a better and upgraded O-line. What are we talking about? The guy's going to have over 300 touches. He can easily sneak right back into that top 5.
Absolutely. And with those wideouts and obviously Joe Burrow, that's not a dump offs. Like you said, the touches are there. They're going to be there all game long. And so, I agree with you. Definitely.
I love it. Yeah, so that's my top 5, man. I mean, hopefully you could take that to the draft tonight and you go out there and kill it, man.
Okay. Hopefully my competitors haven't tuned in yet.
I know. I have someone in the chat. I'm like,
they're writing notes.
Exactly.
Draft everybody on the Jets, guys. Everybody on the Jets. No.
There you go.
All right, LaQuan, I want to talk to you. So, in regards to some established players, give me a couple of players who are established, who you see that are going to take a step back, and some that are going to take that next step forward. It's going to, go over the top and maybe become superstar status.
That's good.
So again, I'm a Rams fan. I hate talking bad about my guys, but I feel as though Cam Akers right now, it's going to take a step back just based on the Achilles. I will give it one more year. I feel as though he had every opportunity to be a star, to be a workhorse. And like coming from the Todd Gurley era, that's kind of what us Rams fans want. And that's kind of what the fantasy community wants too, for Cam Akers to be Todd Gurley 2.0. But it's like, it's going to be hard for that to happen with Darrell Henderson there, with, Kyron Williams there as well. That can also help on third downs, which is great at pass blocking, by the way. If you want to go look up his highlights, he is an amazing third down back. But I feel as though it'll be more of a running back by community, but Cam Akers' price isn't reflecting that. He's going in the 3rd, 4th round, 5th round, which is like we're paying this price for a guy that's not really going to be on the field 100% as that workhorse. Like we want 20 touches like we saw in the playoffs with Cam Akers, but he had 2.6 yards per carry in the playoffs. So think about if you were in a fantasy championship and you're getting that production, you're like, So it's like a lot of people fell in love with the story of him coming back, returning so early, but not really translating the actual production that was on the field, what was being done, and how that translated to fantasy points. So a lot of people are going to get their hearts broken this year. But again, I'm a Rams fan. If he does great, if he stays healthy, we're winning games then. So I win either way.
That's a good point.
What's your second question? Somebody who's established that can be a breakout?
Yeah, breakout. Well, you just mentioned Cam is taking maybe a step back. Who's a guy that is an established player, but you see him elevating his game and maybe getting into the top 10 finish of the year?
I'm going to say Derek Carr. A lot of people are like really like down on Derek Carr, but we got to understand he just got a freak athlete. You got Devontae Adams. And Derek Carr was already top 5 in pass completions, top 5 in passing yards. Like all these stats, he was number 1 in pass and play action. So it's like you're giving him Devontae Adams while already having Hunter Renfrow, while already having Darren Waller. How is he not going to sneak into this top 10? How is he not sneaking into top 7? I'm willing to go that high for a Derek Carr. Yeah. Him and Kirk Cousins are the two people that I feel as though this is going to be the year that we have this top 10 conversation in fantasy with these two, because they've always been on the outside, 11 or 12, 13, you know what I mean? But Derek Carr is like the number 1 guy that's going to break out, and he's going to put a lot of people to bed, and he's going to put a lot of fantasy rosters to shame because you're getting him in the 12th, 13th round. A lot of people aren't checking for Derek Carr just because it's Derek Carr.
Those are some fighting words. Wow.
Look, I can see it. McDaniels being his coach, offensive minded, so that's going to help. And that whole division really is loaded at quarterback.
Somebody has to finish last. That division's so stacked. I honestly don't know who's going to finish last. It could be the Chiefs. It could be the Chargers. Who knows?
Definitely. So talking about, I kind of got that vibe, like sleepers. Who are some of your sleepers this year that you're like, man, if these people don't figure it out soon, who's some of your sleeper players?
Listen, I hate to give away sleepers people who still have
top 3.
But my top 3 sleepers right now has to be Tyler Algier, rookie. He's a Falcons running back. He has bell cow written all over him. Hopefully the Falcons lean on him. Early in the season, he might not have day 1 impact, but I'm telling you, like, when we get into the week 6, 7s, and 8s, we're in the mid-season, it's like, whoa, this guy's kicking up. So, again, he's going in the late rounds. Nobody's really talking about him. And then there's my wide receiver, David Bell. David Bell is not the sexiest draft pick. Some leagues he's going undrafted. Some leagues he's your last pick, but he's contending to be the number 2 in Cleveland. And I really feel as though he's that smooth route runner. He's not, a guy that's going up making the craziest catches like a Mike Williams or a Keenan Allen, et cetera, et cetera. He's that guy that he gives me a lot of vibes of Cooper Kupp, of a smooth route runner, great hands. He's just a reliable wide receiver, and that's what you want. And he can have the volume if he's getting open. Targets are earned. So therefore, if he's getting open, if Amari Cooper's struggling with his 3 routes that he knows or whatever, then it's like David Bell is going to be wide open. He's great in the red zone as well. A lot of back shoulder throws. That seems to be his specialty because every highlight I watch him on YouTube, it's a back shoulder. He just catches it like it's nothing. It's like, oh, this guy's going to be good for the Browns. And Jacoby Brissett, he's going to be looking for security blankets. He's going to be looking for even Njoku. He's going to be looking for David Bell. If you're open immediately, he's going to want to just dump it off to you. It's going to be quick passes. It has to be.
So I noticed you haven't said any of our players, and I know Lou's going to have some questions about the Dolphins players.
I did, but I wanted to just go back really quick.
Yeah.
Two guys in particular. Travis Henry. Derrick Henry. How do you feel Derrick Henry losing A.J. Brown? And now Tannehill, down here in Miami, we know what he's capable and not capable of doing. How do you see him? Is it just a question now where that the defenses are going to stack up against him? And it's going to be one of those where he's going to, because he's not a guy that catches the ball in the backfield a lot. Yeah. Is he going to struggle maybe not putting up these monster 1,800, almost 2,000 yard seasons this year?
I don't know if we can say he'll have 1,600, but I still have 1,200 on the table for him because he's top 5 against stack boxes. He's averaging like 4.6 yards per carry against 8 men in the box. And people don't understand like how crazy that is, that you're still able to do that. And he's a freak athlete. And I feel as though you can't really knock him for not catching the ball because that's more of like a scheme. He can actually catch the ball. People just don't understand because they don't see it a lot. But I think they'll have to lean on him more in the passing game because, again, Robert Woods is coming back from the ACL tear. Tyler Birkin, it's like, is he conditioned right? Is he going to be able to stay on the field for like 3 plays? But like, I feel as though Derrick Henry, they gave him a raise. They upped up his little contract this year. He gets a little bit more money. So I feel as though they're going to lean on him as like the all-around like offense. They have to. The run game has been their bread and butter. I mean, they go to the playoffs without him. You know what I mean? That was pretty nuts. They changed it up. And players like Deontay Foreman stepped up. I love his story. I've been saluting him every time he touches the field. And like, it's definitely going to be something to watch.
Gotcha. And the other guy I wanted to follow up with you, who's going to be the main guy now? Aaron Rodgers' main target with Adams leaving there. And, they have a mix of guys there. Aaron Rodgers is a tremendous player, one of the all-time greats. Who's he going to be feeding this year? Who's going to be the guy that's going to replace all those targets?
See, a lot of people are overlooking Aaron Jones. He's a running back, so I'm not going to say any wide receiver. It could be Romeo Doubs. It could be Christian Watson. It could be Amari Rodgers. It could be Alan Lazard. But we got to go with the guy that he has trust in. You know what I mean? Like, for the last 3 seasons, like Aaron Jones has finished second on the team in targets behind Davante Adams. So it's like he's going to go with the most trusted guy that's currently on the roster. Like Alan Lazard has his moments. He can definitely be that guy, but he's not Davante Adams. You know what I mean? If you put a Jalen Ramsey on him, it's locked up season. And then what are you going to do? Aaron Rodgers is a winner, so he's going to figure out a way to win regardless of the situation, who's out there catching the ball. But Aaron Jones looks to be his most trusted wide receiver, pass catcher, I should say. And I feel as though, we have to look at Aaron Jones as the guy now to step up to be, a pass catcher that he can trust. The dump offs, the little put him in the slot, and then A.J. Dillon's going to be on the field at the same time. So they're kind of showing us with their hand of what they want to do. Same thing with Tony Pollard and Zeke. Tony Pollard's going to be lined up and Zeke's going to be in the backfield. So obviously they need that guy to step up as the third option. So it has to be Aaron Jones for me.
There you go. Okay. All right. So let's get to the Miami aspect of it. This is a Miami-based show. So, fantasy aspects for Miami. You got obviously Tyreek Hill coming down here. Everybody's super excited. And then you got a guy who had a monster year last year in Jalen Waddle. So what do you think? Like, how is one of them going to suffer stat-wise, or can they both have 1,000-yard plus seasons? I don't want to say double-digit touchdowns for both, but I'd love to say it.
Put it in the universe.
Can they both have over 1,000 yards and close to 7, 8, 9 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
I think we could look at Waddle having like 8 to 10 touchdowns while Tyreek Hill is at the 12 to 14 mark, because this offense has nothing but speed, and it's going to be very difficult to cover them. And the fact that Tua is showing, like, putting the haters to bed, like, I can throw the deep ball. Like, everybody's critiquing, like, oh, it was underthrown. That would have been – doesn't matter. Did he catch it? Was it accurate? Was it there? Was it at the numbers? And that's all Tyreek Hill needs. And I really feel as though Tyreek Hill believes the comments that he said about Patrick Mahomes and Tua being more accurate. I really, truly believe he believes that, because he's seeing something on that field that we're not seeing. We're just seeing highlights. We're just seeing the little clips. We're not actually boots on the ground at the camp seeing how their chemistry is building. So I definitely feel as though this is going to be an offense, like, it's going to be lightning. Like, you can't cover Jalen Waddle. You can't cover Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson, another speed guy. You can't anticipate Raheem Moore's breaking outside for 26 to 30-yard run. Like, this is all an offense that has nothing but speed. So it's going to be
Chase Edmonds too. Chase Edmonds is a tremendous.
Chase Edmonds too.
Yeah. So it's a lot of guys in there that Tua has a lot of weapons, and so then that's the follow. How does he project as a fantasy guy? I mean, because he does not project as a runner. He doesn't really run the ball that much. Yeah. And he does make mistakes. That's been one of his biggest issues here the last couple of seasons. With the interceptions that are probably going to come, and with his inability to run the football, how does he project? Where do you see him as ranking the quarterback position?
Ranking a quarterback, he's definitely inside the top 15. I don't know where at, but what makes me think he can reach just outside that top 10 is because of having Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And I really feel as though Chase Edmonds and Raheem Morris plays a huge role in that supporting cast for him to be able to have the dump balls, to have Raheem Mostert, yeah. I'm thinking my Rams defensive coordinator to be able to run. You know what I mean? Like, this offense is going to be able to move the ball. So Tua's just not – he can't make the stupid mistakes. He can't miss the easy layups. Like I said, this team has nothing but speed. So if they're open, don't hesitate. There's been times where we're seeing him hesitate in the pocket of, like, if he should throw it or not. But I really think, with this speed, it should just click automatically in his head, like, boom, Waddle's open. Hill's open, Cedric Wilson's open. Like, it's like it should be simple for Tua. It should be really like slow motion for him, if that makes sense.
And then Gesicki too, our Jersey boy. I mean, he's another one that we have high hopes for, and we hope everything pans out well for our tight end Gesicki. So, but kind of talking a little more about the Dolphins. What do you in the world? I mean, you hit on this a lot already, but what do you in the world really think about us? Do you guys think like our heads are too high up? Do you think we have something here? Do you think we could do something with the AFC East? What do you guys really think? Because, I mean, obviously we have high hopes.
Listen, my honest opinion, it's either you or the Bills, because the division is weak right now.
Yeah.
And I say that with, the Dolphins on the rise. Bills obviously like favorite to win the Super Bowl, but I really don't see the Patriots doing anything much. I really see them as the missing link. I mean, like the weak link here. And I feel as though the Dolphins and Bills can go head to head. You guys can sneak one in. You guys could really sneak one in and put one over them. I really feel as though, the Bills, they need a running game. Like, I know they want Singletary. They got James Cook now, Zach Moss, but that running game needs to be hitting on all cylinders, because they're taking the longevity away from Josh Allen running the ball. I mean, he's a great runner. I just feel as though he's very reckless. So he's just knocking off those quarterback years for himself. So until they go out and get a running back, I wanted them to get Melvin Gordon last year or Chris Carson before the neck injury. So it was like, I want them to get an actual running back there that can handle the full workload. And I feel like that's going to be constantly their missing piece. And that's exactly why they lost to the Chiefs, to be honest.
Definitely. So a question just came in. One of our buddies, Russ Taylor, a really good friend of the show, supporter. He said, how does everyone feel about the NFC East, the division that never has a same winner? How do you feel about the NFC East?
It's going to be very interesting, I'll say. I still got the Cowboys, but the Eagles' defense is looking great. Yeah. So it's like it's really a toss-up. But, then there's the Giants for Brian DeBoer. And then you got, Carson Wentz over there with the Commanders. And I really feel as though it's a toss-up because, again, Cowboys are dealing with injuries on that O-line. The Eagles, we need to see if Jalen Hurts is really Jalen Hurts with A.J. Brown there. And, with the Commanders – Carson Wentz, Antonio Gibson drama, you know what I mean? And it's like the Giants, Daniel Jones. Are we going to see, what was it, Davis Webb, the third string quarterback taking some snaps in the regular season? Who knows? You know what I mean? So we shall see.
Okay.
Definitely.
LaQuan, what are also of piggyback also of the Dolphins? Dolphins defense. Why aren't they getting the love in fantasy football? This is a team that has a tremendous pass rush, and then you got a lot of people are thinking that Javon Holland's going to be a breakout sleeper candidate for the Defensive Player of the Year award. You already have a guy,
Xavier
Xavier
Howard, Jalen Phillips
could be in that same position as well.
Tell us.
So what do why are the Dolphins, defense? Why are they not getting the love out there?
Listen, you guys are sleepers. I mean, for fantasy, we still draft defensive players. IDP leagues still do defensive players as well. Defensive, points matter as well. But I want to keep it that way. You guys are a sleeper. Okay. Just go out, show up, and show out, and put people to bed because it's one of those best kept secrets in fantasy. If a defense like the Dolphins, a defense like the Chargers, who still aren't getting the correct praise, it's that's good. I can get them on my roster, and they put up 10 to 15 points 3 weeks in a row. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you want to be that, that low-key team with a great defense. You know what I mean? It's a great structure, and I'm really excited to watch you guys play on both sides of the ball this year, to be honest. It's you guys, the Bills, and, of course, my Rams.
We appreciate it. No, we appreciate the love. I know you have one more follow-up question
about
fantasy.
It all starts with the Dolphins' success on Thursday night, actually, with you guys. Hopefully you beat the Bills and take care of business. Help us out.
We'll get it done.
Yeah.
Go Rams, go. Go Rams.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So I want to give you some rapid fire before we switch gears here with the fantasy talk. I want to talk about players on bye weeks. Some people are there's the Chargers, for example, have 3 guys that are going to go really quick, and their quarterback, who I believe is going to have a breakout year as well. I think Herbert's going to have a monster year.
Yeah.
You got Eckler, and then Keenan Allen is still a guy that is always on the cusp of being a top number 1 ranked wide receiver. So a team like that, you get all 3 of those guys on your team, or someone similar, a team like that has 3 guys on a bye week. How do you recommend that? How do you fix that situation? When that bye week comes?
I believe in stacks. So there's a lot of leagues where I went Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, or I went, Herbert, Eckler. With that, you have to have a secondary stack is what I call it. So I'll stack on a different team. I'm able to get Devontae Adams early and then get a Derek Carr late. But that's depending on your league format as well. Or my favorite low-key stack right now is Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas, because Michael Thomas is dealing with an ankle injury. But a lot of people are letting him fall to the 6th, 7th round. Or even with a Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, because he's suspended 6 weeks. So there's a lot of teams where I have DeAndre Hopkins as my wide receiver 4 already stacked up with a Stephon Diggs, a Jamar Chase, and then a Hunter Renfrow. And it's how is this fair? Once he comes back, still DeAndre Hopkins. We're talking D-Hop right now. Are we crazy right now? Right. D-Hop still managed to average 15 points per game last year, even with the games that he missed. So average points per game are very important when you're going to your draft as well, because it's I'm getting him as my wide receiver 4. So week 7 is pretty much over for the rest of the league. You know that, right? So you definitely got to have that strategy on hand if you do go. I never went excessive. I never did Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen. I don't even think I could probably pull that off. But if you're in that situation, just try to get secondary stacks, or that's a good way, one of the ways to get a strategy going.
But do you ever draft, hey, I got too many guys that are going to be a bye this week. I got to change my strategy. Or should you, go with the player that's there that's going to give you the most production?
I mean, yeah, you got to go with, in those early rounds, you got to go with who's going to score the most points. Most of your points come from that first 3 rounds. Everything else is supporting cast. So if you can pull that off and you're in a high power offense, if I was ever able to get a Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill, it's going to be unfair up until their bye week, because those guys are productive. Those are excessive stacks that if you can pull that off and your league mates let you get that off, their problem. They lost.
Yeah. Before I ask another question, Russ Taylor chimed in again. What about these guys that are in your league and they're hoarding players, hoarding quarterbacks, or hoarding wide receivers, and they're kind of trying to force people's hand to make trades? Do you pay these guys any attention, or what do you think of these guys?
You laugh.
Listen, I deal with this across so many leagues. And
they're not from Jersey. They're ignorant, right? No.
Yeah, my buddy, he's infamous of hoarding the running backs, and it's dude, stop! I'm not giving you Lamar Jackson for a running back that is nowhere near the caliber of him in drafts and price, and then those guys, they end up suffering in the end. They don't ever win. Let's be honest. They don't ever win the league when you hoard players, because they're lacking in other areas because they did that. I had a guy that hoarded all the tight ends. He went Mark Andrews, Kittle, and then he ended up grabbing trading for Kelsey. And I'm like, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Like, you basically screwed yourself. You can only start 2 really
Right.
in that format. So it's like, they never win. It's trolling at this point.
Okay, so how about, the biggest thing that no fantasy manager wants to hear, injuries and monitoring injuries. How do you do that during the week? Like, there's some players that are so established, they've been through this before, and they're going to play on Sunday or Monday, regardless of their status, but they're getting the questionable all week long. What do you do, and what do you recommend to people out there in terms of monitoring that? How do you go about it?
So it starts on draft day, absolutely. Like, if you're going to draft like a Henry, a CMC, these players that are high draft picks and they dealt with injury last year, the best way is, one, in the draft, you stack up on running backs that you feel as though that could be, reliable when their name is called. You don't want any zombies on your bench. I call them zombies because they're taking up a roster spot. They're roster cloggers, like some people like to call them. So again, going back to Raheem Mostert, I have plenty of shares of him. I have so many shares of him. It's not even funny at this point how many leagues I got him. But I really feel as though he's a great guy and a perfect example. If he stays healthy, those first 8 to 9 weeks, and he's on my bench, that is great. That's a great sign. But if I lose Zeke again, if I lose Saquon again, if I lose CMC again, I can put him in and I should be fine, fingers crossed. But a better way you can handle the navigate of the injuries as well during the season, have a watch list. There's a button that you can click, a star, sleeper. If you're on NFL Fantasy, a watch list. You basically put this guy on your list. You just monitor him for the next couple of weeks. And if he's still on the waiver wire, if he's available, you go grab him ASAP because you already have him on that watch list. You don't have to go searching different positions to find this guy because you already got him because you've been monitoring him just because you're curious of injury. You're curious about Miles Sanders and that hammy. Then Boston Scott is on the waiver wire right now ready for you. Kenneth Gainwell is out there for you. Watch lists are like a little secret little trade that, you can win your leagues with.
Okay, so piggybacking off that as well, how important is handcuffing, getting that running back that's the backup, just getting him, drafting him, not waiting for somebody to develop that? And then also, when do you use your waiver wire? If you're up there, do you wait? Do you wait as the season prolongs? Or if a guy's out there available that you think can make a difference, do you jump on it?
Yeah. Like handcuffing, it has to make sense. Like, perfect example, Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson's going in the 12th, 13th round. Akers, like I said, is going in the third or fourth round. If you do make that high investment in the third, fourth round for a Cam Akers, you have to get Darrell Henderson because you're already putting in your head like, all right, he's coming back from a serious injury. I know he could face injury in the early weeks. I don't want to be asked out because he's on a high-power offense. That's why you handcuff like a Darrell Henderson. Same thing. Like, I really hate to look at Kareem Hunt as a handcuff. Like, he's the most – I would say he's probably like the number one handcuff year after year, but I don't look at him as a handcuff. He's productive on his own, even with Nick Chubb there. But that's another example of like getting a guy on an offense that is going to run the ball. J.K. Dobbins, Kenyon Drake, he just signed. So it's like it makes sense if you have these worries.
Okay, and the waiver wire, do you recommend using that as soon as you think a guy that can help your team is available, take it, or should you wait and see? Should you save it for towards the end as you're getting closer to the playoffs?
Yeah, you got to play it. You got to play it by situation because definitely depending on your league and how your waiver wire is set up. Like my home league, it's come first, come serve. It's the most chaotic thing ever. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, that's
it gets ugly in the group chat. It gets real ugly because you're sitting having people waiting to the last second. 7 in the morning to hit that button just to get that player. And then, it gets crazy. But I feel as though you play it by situation. If I just lost a running back or a wide receiver quarterback, don't wait. You have to, even if it's something so minor, like I can't think of an injury right now. Like Mahomes when he hurt his knee or whatever. It was very minor, but he still played the rest of that season. Doesn't matter. Go pick up a guy right now just in case because somebody's going to see that and be like, you know what? I'm going to hoard the quarterback. I'm going to hoard the wide receiver, tight end, et cetera, et cetera. I don't like to wait on waiver wire. I don't like to, hesitate because I need my team to be good every single week. I need it right now.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
And the last thing, weather. You have not so much now, but during the early or in the fall, you get the rain, and in the winter you get the snow.
The elements.
The elements.
The weather. We don't know weather. We live in Florida. We have one weather every day.
It's not a problem
the
here.
Elements.
Not a problem here, but in other locations.
The elements.
How does that factor into you, in your opinion?
Listen, if you got a Bills game, if you got a Buffalo Bills game and it's snowing like hell, your running back's about to have like 300 yards or something like that crazy. Because
but do you not fire up Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen? I mean, you have
see
to
that's where it gets weird. Like you have to start your studs. So when we get into that situation, I know Josh Allen's going to run the ball a ton. And I know Stephon Diggs is probably going to have some targets, but are they going to be, effective targets? Are they going to mean anything? It might be a lot of red zone, but I really feel as though like a team like Buffalo, you have to play the running backs. I mean, you look at A.J. Dillon's game last year when it was snowing, and he just put up monster points, and he's the second running back on the depth chart, people. Like, these are the games you actually love for your running backs. Wide receivers, tight ends, it gets a little sticky, especially if you have a quarterback like Tua and he's going to Buffalo and playing the snow. It's not going to be a good day for him because, again, it's sunny, it's great vibes, great weather down in Florida. So it's like he's going to probably struggle. But, your running backs, they always seem to do better when it's snowing.
Yeah,
definitely.
Speaking of that, guys like Deebo Samuel and Robert Woods, who was a former Ram, now with Tennessee, guys like that, do you think we're going to see more of that? Or is this something, was it just something isolated with those two guys? Do you think that in the future, we're going to see a lot more of these wide receivers getting touches on reverses, pitches, kind of like emulate their game to those two guys that we just talked about?
Tyreek Hill, he's going to be Debo this year. I mean, Mike McDaniels has even said it. He's been trying to get him all over the field. It's going to be a lot of screens, jet sweeps, and et cetera, et cetera. And I really think, Tyreek Hill is already great in itself, but you're giving him a Deebo Samuel role that we just witnessed last year. It just goes crazy. It goes up. You know what I mean? So guys like that, Robert Woods, I don't know if he's going to get that production with Tennessee. Maybe. I mean, it will help for the running game. He's known to do things like that, screens and jet sweeps. But I really think Robert Woods' role was kind of just given to him by Sean McVay because they were trying to do that with Tavon Austin, and it just didn't work out. So they needed somebody to give that motion across the line, that jet sweeps. And Robert Woods is fast. He's a track star. So it just played into his lap of where he was able to execute that.
Definitely. And switching gears, wrapping up, obviously you guys open your season this Thursday. I'm so glad we're not because I need to sort of process it and everything. My anxiety, my jitters would be like, oh my God, it's during the week. But anyways, defending Super Bowl champs, LA Rams, Buffalo Bills, this Thursday, 8:30-ish. How do you guys feel? Well, first of all, how do you feel about your upcoming season? Can you possibly do a repeat? Talk me through this Thursday game. What do you guys expect? And then do you think that you have it in you to do a repeat?
I do think we could repeat. I really think we have the pieces to go back there. And I really believe in Sean McVay and everything he has on the table, and especially with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. But the addition of Allen Robinson is so great. And then to even have the rumors and whispering of Odell Beckham coming back in November, December, it just elevates that. So it's like, I definitely like what we have. I am worried about Thursday night with the O-line. Guys are getting hurt. Guys are young, new, and I really feel as though Von Miller is going to have a day, and it's going to be one of those situations where, Sean McVay will have to pivot, but I think it'll be a very close, good game, and I really feel as though we're coming out as winners. We're coming back from revenge. It's at our house. We're defending champ. The banner's going up. I'm going to be there, so it's like you have to.
Nice. Well, I can tell you on behalf of the Dolphins Nation, we are standing behind you full force on Thursday. So you have we have a huge fan base. Despite what people think, how we don't fill up the FTX for the Miami Heat and the Dolphins, we are behind you. You have our heart and support on Thursday. Full force.
I want to know also, not just if you can repeat as champions, but could Cooper Kupp, since we're still on a fantasy kick here, can he repeat what he did last year? I mean, he had a monster year. Can he do it again?
I don't see why he can't. I really feel as though this playbook was opened up, once Jared Goff was traded. And I think that's what Sean McVay's been wanting for Cooper Kupp. And the thing is, I'm not surprised Cooper Kupp did what he did last year because I already knew he had that in him because he finished top 5 as a wide receiver in PPR formats 2 years ago. So it's like, it's not foreign that he's like this top 5, top 3 wide receiver. It was just great to have a quarterback that can open up the playbook, execute the playbook, and have a good football IQ. I'm not taking shots at Jared Goff, but he just couldn't take that lead to go more to bring us to the Super Bowl again.
Yes. All right. Got you. And I wanted to finish up with you mentioned you're going to be at the game on Thursday. You'll be there for the opener?
Yes, I'll be working. So I work next to SoFi Stadium. So
Okay.
Technically, I'll be there.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely.
All right. Okay. And how is it? Is it sold out in terms of like the
Yeah.
Rams? Obviously that game, but season ticket holders. Because Miami is kind of similar. You get a lot of people on here from New York and out there, LA.
Hey, I got somebody in my corner today. Keep easy there.
we saw a lot of people, last year, a lot of 49er fans were there. So
Yeah.
the fan base, is it now, getting with a Super Bowl win? Are
That's
people
good.
just super excited and just trying to, because there's been a lot of turnover in LA. The Raiders coming
Yeah.
to leave, the Chargers now coming in, the Rams left, obviously. So how's it been and how's it moving forward?
It's growing. Like we're seeing a lot more people pay attention now because you got to realize there's so much to do in LA. Like they have so many other sports teams, Lakers, and it's like you have to do something that will have people like, oh, okay, and you know what I mean. So we're seeing a lot more people with jerseys, and you're seeing a lot more people going to the games and tailgating, et cetera, et cetera. So that's great. You know what I mean? Me from Jersey, like this is a whole new experience for me. Like seeing this stuff. Like I just got here to Cali like a month ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like great to like see this and see the city coming together and rally behind the Rams. And unfortunately, there's no Chargers fans. I have yet to see a Herbert jersey. I have yet to see an Allen jersey. But they're still San Diego at heart. It is what it is.
Nice.
Definitely.
I actually saw a game at the LA Coliseum. I saw an Eagles-Rams there game, and
that game is crazy.
Yeah, it was right before. So Wentz went down that game. And
I remember right in the end zone.
They ended up winning the whole Super Bowl, but it was important for me to be there because the Dolphins capped the undefeated season at that stadium. So it was pretty cool to be there and get to win this.
What a moment! That's dope.
Huge. So it's good to hear that everybody's excited. We're obviously excited for you to take care of the Bills, and I'm looking forward to this.
We're gonna handle business. Don't worry.
So real quick, who's your basketball team? I'm curious to know because being from Jersey, is it Knicks, Nets, or did you do a sleeper like the Heater?
Oh man, Celtics.
Knicks?
Celtics.
Oh.
Okay, baseball though.
I would say the St. Louis Cardinals, but I haven't watched baseball in a while.
See, I'm Red Sox, so when you say Celtics, I could kind of see how like people get mad at me, but no, we're always accepting applications from Miami Heat fans. It's just the same. Before we get you out of here, give me your league MVP. Who's going to the Super Bowl and who's winning it? Gonna get you out of here.
Ooh. League MVP. I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert. Super Bowl Rams. Man, I want to take back Herbert. Actually,
Herbert's my sleeper pick. I just want you to know. I think Herbert's
he's a dark horse. He's dark horse. Yes. He's gonna have a monster year, I think. But okay, so you take that back. Who do you got?
I don't know, man. I feel like Lamar Jackson's playing with a chip on his shoulder because he wants to get paid. So I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson.
Okay, that's a good one.
Wow.
So I don't know if you saw or not, but he has said that he is not going to negotiate once the season starts. He's not gonna. So it's basically they could do everything they want now to try to give him that extension, or he won't do it during the season. He also happened to like a picture of him in a Dolphin uniform. So I'm just saying.
Who doesn't?
Look, we want Tua. Lamar's from here. Lamar's from the Miami area.
Yeah.
We want Tua to succeed. I want to be very clear about that.
Yeah.
But there's a question mark there. There is. He hasn't.
I mean, that would be pretty cool to see. I'm sorry. Oh man.
I'm just putting it out there. If he
got to put it in the universe.
Exactly.
Yes, speak into existence, as they say.
There's a backup plan. So
definitely.
Good. So you said the Rams, and who did you say who are they gonna meet in the Super Bowl from the AFC?
Dolphins. Excuse me.
The Bills.
What?
The Bills.
Oh wow. Okay, so we're gonna see a possible preview of the Super Bowl this Thursday.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I definitely
can see it.
All right.
Okay, perfect. LaQuan, tell our viewers, our friends, how can they get in touch with you? How can they see your content? Share it.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at Real Deal Fantasy. I'm on YouTube, same name, Instagram. I'm still even hanging out on Facebook, posting content, TikTok.
That's him too.
You know what I mean? Like I'm still putting content. So Real Deal Fantasy everywhere. You can find my content, weekly, daily, and Twitter is probably the best spot you can find me at. And look out for some articles coming from Downtown Rams and Football Guys as well. I'll be doing video content over there as well. So be on the lookout.
Perfect. LaQuan, on behalf of all of us, thanks so much for hanging out with us on Labor Day. It was so great to hear your insights on fantasy football, get an inside view of the Rams. We obviously said we wish you the best on Thursday. After that, we are enemies. Not really, but not enemies, but we're like. So, anyways, no, we do appreciate your time and wish you the best this season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, catch you later. Take care. Bye. Wow.
That was awesome.
Okay, so he did not convert me to be a Rams fan, just so you know, even though he hypes his team so good, but they are amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
They're the defending champs, of course.
So let's talk about Super Bowl. But before we talk about Super Bowl, we never really had this conversation. What's your final record for the Dolphins? I mean, I put it out on Twitter. I asked people like, where do you see it? Where do you kind of see our team landing this year? Like
before we get into that, want to just definitely LaQuan was awesome. I know
that
a lot of guys in the room, my fantasy competitors, especially the one for the draft for tonight. I'm sure he gave a lot of tidbits out there, and he's got a lot more. So I know you'll promote everything he pushes.
I can change the language on this so they can. I can just put it further.
Decode it.
I will. I'll make it to Mandarin or something, so they can hear the first part of Mandarin.
Scramble it until tonight. So
you got it. I'm on it.
But no, he was completely awesome, and that was an insight. He's going to be at the game Thursday.
It's awesome.
So it's really cool catching up with him. That was awesome. As far as the Dolphins. So when we did our preview show before training camp started, I said that it was going to be similar to what we've done before, which is 9-8. It used to be a running joke for a long time that it was 8-8. The Dolphins are always 8-8 average, just missing out in the playoffs. That was for decades now. And so the last couple of years was 9-8, and I said it was going to be similar. I now have changed my tune.
We've got typical band, changed your mind.
We've gone to a couple of training camps, and there's so much energy with this team right now. I'm not going to go crazy. I've always been a realist. I'm never out here.
17-0. Here we go.
No, I'm never out here every year saying we're doing this, we're doing that. I am a realist when it comes to our team, and especially the Dolphins, because there's really not been a lot to be excited about. So, but I still don't think we're good enough to catch the Bills. I think the Bills are a step ahead. Now, it will go a long way, and I think it's so important that if they lose this game on Thursday at the Rams, and then we beat them in week 3, we now have a 2-game lead ahead of them. So those 2 games are crucial. But I still think they're going to finish a little bit ahead of us. I'm going to say we're going to finish 11-6. 11-6 is what I think we'll finish. I think we'll be 1 game behind the Bills, but still good enough for a wild card. And I think we will win a playoff game. It's not going to be a home game, unfortunately, because you're only going to host one if you're winning your division. So I see us finishing 11-6. Playing in a playoff game, winning one on the road, and I think we need to make that next step the following year.
Okay, so originally, if you want to know what I think,
so you said 10-7.
I did, but then you think we won 9 games last year,
right.
So that's like me saying we're going to win 1 more this year. I think I'm being very conservative when I say 10, so I'm going to boost it up to 11.
Okay, all right, so we agree. Perfect.
We agree.
All right.
The world has come to a happy place. We agree.
So do you think we're going to win our playoff game? It won't be a home game at 11-6, but do you think we'll win a playoff?
Ever since I've been a Dolphins fan, I've never seen the Dolphins win a playoff game.
Right. Neither has a lot of people, so you're not alone there.
So I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to say yes.
So, for those of you wondering at home, the last playoff game was in the year 2000 against the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan there yet.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think we break the streak this year. I think we're going to win a playoff game. So.
Okay, so how far do we get? And ultimately, who do you see in the Super Bowl?
So my Super Bowl picks, I am going to pick the Green Bay Packers over the Buffalo Bills. I hate to say it, I loathe the Bills, I loathe the Patriots, and I loathe the Jets, but the Jets don't really bother me because they stink. They never do anything any year. So, but the Bills and Patriots have been a thorn to most of my fanhood as a Dolphin fan.
Yeah.
And so I loathe them big time, but I got to be real. I got to be honest. And I think the Bills are just a step ahead of everybody. We mentioned with LaQuan, we talked about the AFC West, how loaded it is.
Yeah.
The Bills, I see the Patriots taking a step back, and the Jets are just going to be stomped on all year long. So I think that the West is going to beat themselves up. And then you have, the Ravens and the other team, I'm forgetting the other team in the Central, not the Steelers, not the Browns. I'm missing a team. Oh, the Bengals, the Ravens and the Bengals. So, they're going to beat each other up. And I think the Bills don't have that big competition where I think they're gonna represent the AFC in Super Bowl. Unfortunately.
So you say Bengals, and it's ironic that you say that. I actually have the Bengals going to the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
I do. I think it's going to be Bengals, and surprisingly enough, I do say Green Bay. I do think Green Bay is going to shock a lot of people. Did not shock a lot of people. It would be shocking, you know.
It wouldn't be shocking. They had a good year last year.
They did.
Lost to the 49ers at home in a tough game.
So that's my prediction. I think Green Bay.
Okay, and your MVP? You said MVP?
MVP of the league?
Yes.
Oh.
Don't say Brady.
No. You know, well, I kind of find it ironic that LaQuan said Lamar Jackson. Right? That was like, whoa. I'm not going to say
He's
Lamar.
won it before. He's won it before, so that's a good prediction. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I wouldn't say maybe Tyreek. I know I'm being biased. I know I'm being biased.
It's the quarterback's a safe pick, so I'm gonna stick to it. I think Herbert's gonna put up monster stats this year, which as a Dolphin fan will be tough. But look, if Tua gets us in the playoffs, I'm okay with it. So
that'd be amazing.
We're playing for the ring, not for the MVP trophy.
All right. So first, before we talk about Sunday, obviously week 1, I do want to take a second and to talk about something that did happen last week with our organization. Our senior VP, Director of Communications, Jason Jenkins, did pass away. Really sad for the Dolphins organization as a whole. He did create the Dolphins Cancer Challenge, was such a big part of our community. Every nonprofit around here, when everyone's remembering him, they have a picture of him because, yes, he worked for the Dolphins, but he was just so much more than just the Dolphins, right? Whether it was feeding the homeless, working with the kids, anything, he was so a part of. So our community did lose a very, very, very amazing man this weekend. So prayers to Jason's family and the Dolphin organization as a whole. It's really big, really hard for the Dolphins. And today at 4:00 at the Hard Rock, they are having a celebration, memorial service of his life. So if you are around, you do have to get tickets online, but definitely something to remember Jason as.
Yeah, he was just following up with what you just said. He was so many players, coaches, people, broadcasters, journalists. They all came out and said nothing but great things about him. And he is a guy that wasn't involved in the day-to-day operations of the actual team. He was doing stuff in the community, but he pretty much left an imprint and a lasting impression on everyone that he came across within the organization, in addition to all the people that he worked with and everybody he brought together. And so it's just a tremendous loss to the community, and thoughts and prayers over his family during this very tough, unexpected time.
Definitely. I know a lot of the players, they're hurting. Coach McDaniel said a few beautiful words, so definitely keep his family in your prayers. So moving forward, week 1, we play the New England Patriots at home. And I'm glad our season is open and at home, I love starting our season at home, really getting the vibe going. Week 2, obviously we go to Baltimore. So
they're coming in into town on Tuesday.
Tuesday,
So they're coming in tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday.
They're coming in Tuesday.
They're coming in tomorrow because, look, let's face it, the heat here, not the Miami heat, but the actual heat is, it's the sweltering heat down here. It's like no other place. And they want to get used to it because, they're going to be gassing in the third or fourth quarter if they don't. So Bill Belichick, Uncle Belichick, Grandpa Belichick, as I like to call him, is coming down and bringing the boys down here a couple of days earlier to get ready to face the Finns on Sunday. And they're coming with a little bit of a payback in mind. We kind of whooped them pretty good.
We took care of them last year.
At the last game of the season, they still ended up going to the playoffs, but they could have had a better ranking in the playoffs. They ended up playing the Bills and got smoked in that first round. And we kind of dealt with that. We affected them in dropping in their postseason standing. So they're going to have that fresh in their mind. They're going to want to have payback. But I feel that Dolphins are going to take care of them, and we'll be all right week 1.
Do you know where they're going to be this week?
Who?
The Patriots. I do.
Where? Where they're going to train?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know where they're going to be?
I heard it, but what is it?
Yeah. Should I share?
Sure.
Okay, when I share this doesn't mean we go there with picket things and go So they are going to be, I think they are going to have some open practices too, but don't quote me on that. They're going to be at Palm Beach Atlantic University. So up in the Boca, West Palm Beach area, that's where the team's going to be staying, and they're going to be using Palm Beach Atlantic's athletic fields. So enough about the Patriots. This week, 1:00 game, Dolphins, Patriots. Kind of just want to walk over with you guys what to expect at a Dolphins tailgate. I know I've been speaking about this before, but just to recap. We, meaning a lot of people that you know from either Twitter or Facebook groups, the usuals, we do tailgate at East 12. So in regards to the stadium, it is on the east side of the stadium, closest to the turnpike. Now, just because we tailgate at East 12, I know a lot of people have asking, like, do I need a parking pass there? We don't even park at East 12, right? We have a pass across the street. So if you can't get a parking pass for East 12, which is an orange lot, you're fine with the yellow pass wherever you can be. You just walk over. We don't charge for our tailgate. You don't need to bring anything. Bring yourself. It's a lot of fun. Our tailgate really opens at like 9. We get there a little after 9. But anywhere between 9 to like 12:30, you're in the heart of it. So anybody's allowed to come. We love meeting everybody. You guys are very important to us. And please, if you are going to any of these games, whether it's this Sunday or any of the following games, I'm telling you, you are welcome to our tailgate. So please do make an appearance. One cool addition about this year to the Hard Rock, there's a few additions. The Fan Plaza, they now have, a little bit more of this because you're like the foodie. They have food trucks.
What are you
saying? Football season hasn't even started yet. They have food trucks now in the Fan Plaza, which is closest to the Fan store. So definitely opportunities to try some of the local Miami foods when you're in the area. We also have these sky gondolas.
It's sponsored by Heineken.
Heineken,
so,
okay.
The Heineken High Life. There are these air gondolas. If you've ever been to Disney World or whatever, it's these little passenger rails that they go around in the sky. They go around the whole Hard Rock, so you can get really cool views of the tailgating area, the plaza, all our statues, and the stadium itself. So it's pretty cool. You do have to pay to enter them, but again, it's a unique perspective in seeing all those things throughout the stadium and around the surrounding areas.
No, I think it's gonna be cool. I think we should definitely try it like week 1, and so that's a big part. Another thing about this season, I'm sure you guys have known, I've said it a million times, it's our 50th anniversary of our 1972 season. So on October 23rd, that's our Sunday night game against the Steelers. They're going to do a whole 50th anniversary celebration with bringing some of the guys back from that season, doing different stories, speeches. So that's a huge, huge game. But we actually have some cool things planned for the 1972 season. I know a lot of other podcasters and reporters and people who cover the Dolphins will be doing something simple or similar, but you hear from me first. We're going to be doing this week in 1972. So we're going to kind of bring you back to 1972 and give you a recap of like what happened that week in Dolphins history just in 1972. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It'll be a good touch. Moving forward, a lot of you have asked, what day are your shows? And up to this point, I really haven't had a set day, right? Because the honest reason why is because we launched the show on March 3rd, which was 305 day. And that was like in the middle of heat season. So I'm like, I can't. March 5th. What is it?
305.
305. I'm sorry.
March the 3rd of
Good catch.
March is the 3rd month.
Okay, good catch. So that is in the middle of basketball season, right? And that was the reason why I couldn't dedicate a show to, let's say, every Tuesday night because our Heat were hot. So it was hard because obviously we're diehard Heat fans. So moving forward, you have my word that there will be an episode either every Tuesday or Wednesday of football season. So the next episode will be next Tuesday. I already have that planned. So definitely log in next Tuesday.
Yeah. And right, you're going to do the recap of 72. Yep. Also, if you're going out to the game this Sunday or for future ones, they're going to have all season long 1972 exhibit. So they're going to have all kinds of artifacts. And I say artifacts because it's been that long.
It's not the National Smithsonian. We are going to Smithsonian, but it's not Smithsonian.
So, yeah, but they're going to have all kinds of exhibits. I don't know if the trophies will be out, but a bunch of exhibits from the 72 team. So it's going to be really cool. So if you're at a game, definitely make sure you have time to tailgate, take that air gondola, and check out that 1972 exhibit. Also, this Sunday, since it is game 1, be there early because they're going to have the flyover most likely. They're going to have the national anthem with the extended super flag on Sunday. And, it's the first time the team comes out and ready for a full force game. So be there early.
Another thing is, you didn't mention, it is 9/11. And so I would be very shocked if the Dolphins, the NFL as a whole, doesn't make mention to that. So I think that they will make mention to it being the anniversary of 9/11.
Right. Security will be obviously checking for a lot of stuff. So, again, get there early and cheer on the Pins.
All right. So bad news as we wrap up. Our Miami Marlins officially out. It's been a good season. Not good, but we had fun at the ballpark.
Yeah.
We got some bobbleheads. If you guys
some-
don't know, Lou is an avid bobblehead collector. So most of the games, if you weren't going there for a great pitching matchup or a team coming into town like San Diego or whoever they may be, we go there for the promotion items. So you got some cool promotion items this year.
That's right. Yeah.
What's your favorite?
My favorite was probably the Jazz bobblehead, Jazz Chisholm bobblehead.
You know what mine was?
What?
The ring.
Oh yes,
Yes.
Right.
So
Actually, I have that with me. So yeah, you want to hear? You could be Vanna White on the show.
Oh, I thought you had, I've never seen him hold a ring box before. I got excited. I thought we were going to go live with this. Oh, my goodness.
No, relax.
Oh,
Don't get your hopes up.
goodness. Okay. You're sick. You're a sick one.
It comes in a
Sarah.
little box like a
regular ring. So this was one of the giveaways this year. It was.
Check it out. Show it.
I'm scared I'm going to drop it.
Yeah.
We gave one to Lou's dad, and we were so excited to give it to him, and he dropped it, and diamonds came out. So, and my nails aren't done. So
They're not real diamonds, though. They're like
I
little
know.
sparklers.
That's how we found out
But
they were real.
show it, yeah.
There
look.
you go, guys.
It's pretty cool. It's
Don't
like
look at my
actual-
nails, please don't. I'm sorry. I'm going to get them redone before the season.
It's an actual replica of the '97 championship ring, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty awesome. So they do a bunch of giveaways like that, and obviously
Yeah.
Sandy Alcantara is still pitching, and
Data.
he's having his tremendous year. He lost his last game against the Braves, but he's still pitching. Having a tremendous season, and he's a candidate for Cy Young. So they do a promotion every time he pitches. So
Sandy's
pretty
Beach.
cool. Yep.
So, unfortunately, our Marlins are done for the season, but we are actually going to catch them play in Washington, D.C. In a week and a half. We're going up there for series. Hey, last thing talking about that. Baltimore Ravens, week 2. As you guys know, we've been promoting it heavy. Del Freaky and I are holding a post-game party at Pickles Pub in Baltimore. All are invited. Hopefully, we're celebrating a week 2 victory. But that is at Pickles Pub in Baltimore after week 2. Ravens, Dolphins. So definitely, please come. Everyone is invited. We're gonna have a great time around.
Remember, they got to come to Baltimore. So if you know
No!
somebody,
Just come.
if you know somebody who's in the area or anybody who's
Yeah.
up north,
Go after the game.
yeah, tell them that we'll be out there after the game, celebrating the
Okay.
Dolphins win. And come on and join us. It'll be a good time.
That'll be cool. Last thing, Miami Heat cannot wait for the start of the season. Oh my gosh. Cool news came out last week that they are going to be wearing their 1988, not retro jerseys.
No, the originals.
The
Wearing
original
Yeah.
jerseys. I know you mentioned that you want to get a Haslam one of that.
Yes,
that'd
absolutely.
be cool.
So that's the other news that came out since our last show. Udonis Haslam, the captain, mentioned that this will be his last year, 20 years in the league. They're going to, I'm sure, have a lot of Udonis merchandise for sale. And those original jerseys, to me, are
They're
really,
nice.
They're nicer than the ones currently now.
I agree.
Look, the ones that we currently want, it's actually kind of like the opposite with the Dolphins. The current ones we've won championships with. The Dolphins is the opposite, the old ones. But I think the older ones look better. They're more in detail, the striping, everything, and also the rim. The rim is a black rim, so it looks more realistic, more like.
I like it.
fire.
You don't gotta sell me. I want them
Yeah,
all.
they're
I want
cool.
them all.
They're cool.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
hope they bring the retro courts back. During that era, they had 3 different courts,
Okay.
so hopefully they can bring those back too and make it a big fashion event.
Definitely. Now, anyways, guys, lots of events going on this week in Miami. I'll be keeping you posted. I know they're doing an event Saturday in Wynwood. The Dolphins Kickoff. There's also having a party at Dare Nightclub on Saturday night as well. So stay tuned to the website, www.305sportsbabe.com. Also on Twitter and Facebook, we'll be promoting all the events going on this week in Miami.
And follow LaQuan Jones.
And LaQuan Jones was amazing today. I am still shocked that he's a Jersey boy, but I'm not, because let me just end on this. We have a lot of viewers and friends of the show who are from up north. And just because you're from up north doesn't mean you like those teams.
Right.
And you see it more and more and more and more. So, but he's really from really close where I'm in Hamilton. But no,
He was awesome. So thank you, LaQuan.
LaQuan, he research analysis for the NFL Network. So he does the real deep stats. He figures out how successful is Josh Allen on third downs, how many drives and stuff. I couldn't do all that math. So it's great having him. Great info about fantasy football this year and his insight on the Rams. So please do follow him on Twitter. He even has a Facebook, so you can follow him too. Lou's a king Facebook here. So
Good luck, everybody out there in your drafts, except if you're in my draft, then I don't wish
do
you
bad.
Yeah, too bad. No. But in all seriousness, good luck, everybody out there. I know fantasy football gets bigger and bigger every year. A lot of women are getting more involved into it. Even kids, I know high school kids are getting into it. It's a good way to connect with the family and connect with your teams and all that stuff. The community, it's a lot of fun. and you may win $1 or 2 here or there. I don't know.
Hey, my Christmas gifts depending on your league, so please let him win, unless I will have a very sad Christmas. Anyways, guys, it's been awesome. I hope you have a good rest of your Labor Day. Get some relaxation. Take care of family, and until Thursday. Let's go Heat. Let's go Dolphins. Fins up, guys. Take care.
Deuces.
Bye.